let me welcome up our first startup. Enabling safe internal use of sensitive data. Please welcome Dasera co-founder and CTO, Noah Johnson. Oh, welcome. Thanks for being here, man. All right, Noah, your time begins now.
Thank you. Today, every company relies on data to drive their business. But internal breaches are at an all-time high, and consumers are increasingly distrustful of how companies use their data. So analyzing data and protecting consumers, today these things are fundamentally in conflict. Can we do both at once? I started working on this problem a few years ago as part of my PhD work at UC Berkeley. This research led to a collaboration with a Fortune 500 tech company. They had vast amounts of sensitive data about their customers and thousands of employees and contractors who need access to the data. Unfortunately, there were a few publicly reported incidents of employees misusing the data, so they needed a solution. And it needed to be automated because manual approaches don't scale. And it had to be flexible because, for example, the growth team, the fraud detection team, customer support all have very different needs. So the solution I helped develop was eventually deployed at scale for internal analytics, where it's processing 500,000 queries per day, and there haven't been any publicly reported incidents since then. We formed Dasera to bring this solution to the market. Since then, we've met with about 50 CISOs and CIOs, and nearly everyone said that today they have no visibility into how their sensitive data is used. So most rely on training and trust of their employees. But they acknowledge this isn't really a solution. In fact, this year alone, it's estimated there'll be nearly 5,000 internal breaches. That's more than 10 per day. So businesses need a better solution. And that's where we come in. So the key to our solution is, rather than just focusing on the data itself, like traditional approaches, to also look upstream to the queries that are running on the data. So queries are how people interact with data. But you can do anything with a query, good and bad. So if you could train a machine to automatically distinguish between queries that are safe versus dangerous, then you can prevent risks before they happen. And that's exactly what we've built. Our core technology is a query analysis and rewriting engine that understands any query that accesses data in a data warehouse. We're building two products from this technology. First is called Discovery. So Discovery locates sensitive data in a data warehouse and then analyzes every query that ran on the data to let you know the biggest risks. For example, a disgruntled employee that dumps sensitive data to sell on the dark web, or a curious engineer that tries to look up the location of their ex-spouse, or an MBA who isn't familiar with SQL and accidentally writes a query that exposes PII. By the way, these are all real examples that CISOs have shared with us. And in most cases, were only discovered months later. Of course, who knows how many other incidents haven't been discovered yet. So with our Discovery product, these risky behaviors are automatically flagged in near real time. Then our second product, Protection, intercepts and analyzes queries before they even run. And then the company can define how to handle dangerous queries. So for example, someone downloading PII, you could say, that query should be blocked. Or it should be automatically rewritten to return sanitized results. Or that employee should be required to provide a business justification before the query is allowed to run. And because enforcement happens at the query itself, this doesn't require any changes to the data warehouse or even the underlying data. And it's non-disruptive. Employees can continue using the same tools as before. And if they're already using data safely, it's completely transparent to them. Both of our products support cloud data warehouses, including Amazon Redshift, Snowflake, Google BigQuery, and Azure Synapse. So today's economy runs on data and data insights. Unfortunately, internal breaches are now an everyday occurrence. Breaches lead to fines, brand reputation damage, even potentially loss of customers. So protecting data is obviously a smart business decision. It's also a moral responsibility. Consumers entrust companies with their data, and today that trust is being broken. Our mission at Dasera is to build trust between consumers and companies by enabling the safe internal use of sensitive data. In other words, we believe companies absolutely should use data to make better, faster decisions. We want to help them do so while ensuring that the data is used safely and responsibly. Our discovery product is available today. If you have a data warehouse, you can install it and run a scan in 15 minutes. So in 15 minutes, you can learn where sensitive data is located and the biggest risks with how it's used. If you want to learn more or request a demo, you can visit Dasera.com. Thank you.
All right. Great job.